You can change the world. Learn from proven change makers from all walks of life. They'll show you how to raise money, invest for impact, and so much more. You can start small. Start today and never quit. You can change the world by strengthening your superpowers. Now, welcome to the Superpowers for Good show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited today. We have such an interesting guest. Rick DellaRatta is with us, and Rick is the man behind Jazz for Peace, an extraordinarily talented individual with a passion for peace. Help me welcome Rick to the show. Rick, welcome. We're just thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you so much, David. So appreciated.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Thank you very, very much for making time for us. Rick, you gave me some great imagery and such that to share, and maybe this would just serve as a little bit of a visual context for something you might share or perform with us. You've got your Jazz for Peace piece, and maybe you'd share that and one other with us. But let me start this and invite you to go ahead and perform, if you would. Is that okay?
Okay,
Could we
that
jump
sounds
into
like
that?
fun. Yeah, sounds great. Interesting. I hear jazz for peace. Coming through the trees. In my heart, it fills me like a celebration. I see the light. And I want to follow. Inspired by the past contributions of those that came before. When we speak it, people are inspired by the creativity. And humanity and love. An intelligence that leads to reaching potential. That we have in our souls. So we can raise our total conscience and see that the gift of giving is our greatest privilege. your jazz for peace. When lonely feelings chill the meadows of your mind, just think if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Beneath the deepest snows, the secret of a rose is merely that it knows you must believe in spring. Just as a tree that's sure its leaves will reappear, it knows its emptiness is just the time of year. The frozen mountain dreams of April's melting streams, how crystal clear it seems you must believe in spring. You must believe in love and trust it's on its way. Just as the sleeping rose awaits the kiss of May, so in a world of snow, of things that come and go, where what you think you know, you can't be certain of. You must believe in spring and
Those are beautiful, beautiful pieces. I really appreciate you playing. It's very moving, very moving. Thank you so much. Rick, tell us a little bit about your Jazz for Peace work. You've been doing this for a long time. Give us a little sense of the history.
Well, it's just a reflection of it's an amazing kind of a miracle when you get to not only not only promote, your profession, doing what you love, but you also get to espouse, so to speak, for who you are as a person, your growth as a human being, and what it means to you to make a difference for others. And really, a tragic thing happened on 9/11, and it enabled me to respond in such a way that I was able to put um, all the things that I had learned through my artistic and musical journey behind the music itself. So now the music had a mission, and I was able to, what some people say is kind of redefine peace, or take that kind of a baton and keep running around the circle that so many people who had came before had built that foundation, as I say in the poem. And now I get to take that mantle and run a little ways with it. And my little drop in the water is to basically say that if we were to help our most outstanding causes, we would be able to create kind of a positive reaction by helping not only the cause, but all the people in their outreach. We'd be able to solve a problem today, and we'd be able to thwart problems in the future. And it all comes back to the poem, which I wrote on the day of 9/11, just watching the events from not where I am here in Times Square, but more downtown. I was less than a quarter of a mile away in the East Village on a rooftop in a 5-floor walk-up where I was living at that time. And, the words of that poem are basically what I've been trying to live up to every day. So in an incredible tragedy came an incredible opportunity to really walk the walk. And, you learn all these great things in the arts about humanity, about creativity, about, intellectuality and artistry. And now I got to put them to use in a way that I had just never dreamed of because it hadn't really been invented yet. And that is jazz for peace.
Well, it is just beautiful. As you look back, you've been able to take this message around the world. You've been to Pakistan and Nigeria. At least tell us a little bit about how international audiences react to this message, and do they react differently than folks in Manhattan who
Well,
experienced 9/11 with you?
uh, you know, it's interesting. I mean, people are people. So you'll have a natural reaction just from a person hearing music. So you have that natural thing. That's universal and that can affect anybody. I remember when I first came to New York, I used to play in the street with the brother of a famous actor. The actor's name was Alan Arkin. And his brother happened to be a bass player, and he had a permit to play in the street. And when I was playing in the street, he would call me because I had a battery powered keyboard. And I was, at that point, I was just new to New York, and I was like, have talent, we'll travel, we'll play anybody with any time, And I was doing all kinds of gigs. And I was seeing people that, were wealthy, and I was seeing people that were homeless, and I was seeing people that were, hustle and bustle. I was seeing people behind a fruit stand or selling a hot dog or all kind on roller skates. And the reaction to music was, the same as you might see when you travel in all over the world. For example, I was in Ghana once, Ghana, Africa, and the person told me that the place I was playing, they'd only even had electricity for 6 months, and only in a very small part of the city did they even have electricity. So he said, no, there's no way anybody that's at this event has ever heard jazz in their life. And I was going to perform for them. And it was just such a magical opportunity for me to really hear the pure natural, delivery of, my delivery and their reaction. And it's funny because there's a video of it, and there's some music from the concert put behind the guy who's talking and explaining his organization and what he wants to do, which was help the youth in Ghana. And you can hear the people reacting to the music at certain points. They would basically, as it tickled them, as it reacted, they would start clapping, and they would start clapping and make sounds as it affected them. And they would just emote that it was affecting them. Other situations I remember in the south of India where I was getting a general reaction from people. I knew they'd never heard my music. And then I noticed the music was going out into the auditorium, and it was stopping at a certain point. And I saw 3 people there that were just kind of just drinking in the music. So those 3 people I knew were different from all the other people there, because I could tell they knew the history of jazz. They were like, they had you could tell the knowledge they had by the way they were listening. And I said, can you, those 3 guys over there, I'd just like to talk to them. And they came back and they were talking to me. And I said, what's going on with you guys? Because I can tell that way you're listening. Now they're enjoying the music in their way, but you could tell, all kinds of things. I could tell that you could tell. And they said, we flew in here from another part of India, and we are connoisseurs of jazz, and we heard you were going to be in our country, and we flew from such and such. So that was a whole nother thing. So, it's a level playing field. A person, an old person could experience jazz just as well as a little kid. It's just, it levels the playing field, which all of the great qualities that we that we espouse to, whether it be creativity, artistry, humanity, the things in my famous quote. If you ever Google Rick DellaRatta famous quote, you'll see this quote where I say, if we fill our souls up with those things, we'll have a better chance at avoiding the behavior that leads to destruction. Well, all of those great qualities are basically a level playing field. They're qualities that you can't get them with money or without money. You get them through your spiritual growth as a human being on this planet. And that's where I think we're starting to wake up to, bringing Jazz for Peace into a very special time now.
Well, it is. I really hope that you're helping, and expect you are, to build peace. And, we view that as one of the key things we are trying to do at the super crowd with Superpowers for Good, right? Is to participate in peace building through what peace building professionals call positive peace, by investing in solving problems that create tensions, right? If we solve
Right.
those problems, it's easier for us to come together, and live in harmony, right? If there are fewer stressors.
Right.
So, really appreciate you taking time to be with us. We're going to take a quick break here, everyone. I'm We're here with Rick DellaRatta. He is a magnificent jazz performer who is taking his show, the Jazz for Peace, around the world. Stick around. We're going to come back in a minute and talk to Rick about his superpower. You don't want to miss this.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal, to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Join us for SuperCrowd 24 for 2 full days of wealth and impact creating content at this virtual conference on April 17th and 18th. We'll have 100 speakers and live pitch sessions. Learn how to invest like a pro and raise money from the crowd. Save 50% with the discount code SUPERCROWD at thesupercrowd.com.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started, or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can be a green at Raise Green.
Welcome back, everyone. We're just thrilled today. We have with us Rick DellaRatta, the brilliant source of Jazz for Peace. Rick, as you think about your incredible work and your global travels and all the good you're doing, what do you see as your superpower?
Well, my superpower, basically, it started out as being a person who would stay positive and look at something as maybe an opportunity to do something even better. Look at an adversity as an opportunity to do something even better than what we had intended. So I was making kind of lemon out of lemonades, and I was really good at doing that when I helped outstanding causes. We'd have all kinds of adversities, but we turn them into positives. Now my superpower, because I've learned so much from these outstanding causes and from these amazing people I've met along the way, over 850 of the world's most outstanding causes, I've worked with these people. And now people will come to me and say, hey, what, rather than me helping an outstanding cause that hopefully has a solution, people are asking me if I might know the solution to something. So you can ask me anything, and now I have a whole bunch of actual solutions to actual problems. If you asked me, how are we going to take, the problem with technology taking jobs and make that work with people in a positive way, I'll tell you. How are we going to take our trickle-down economy and use it to overcome the issues that it's causing on our planet and make it a positive for philanthropy instead of a negative? I'll tell you. How are we going to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? A couple weeks ago, we had over 1 million impressions, what they call them. LinkedIn calls them, I guess it's people just looking at something, but over 1 million in 1 week, with people wanting to know from me, what is my solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Because I had brought Israeli, Palestinian, and American musicians together in 2002 at the United Nations, and I've been working on that problem ever since. So now my superpower is I kind of have the answers to some really cool things if people have the will to check them out, and then if they like them, we have the way to hopefully embrace them and implement them.
Now, I want to go kind of another direction, a little deeper. If you were trying to coach someone on how to begin to see how to answer big questions, solve big problems, what would you coach people to do in order to be able to see and react to and correct these big challenges?
Well, what I would do is very similar to if you actually ever Google Rick DellaRatta famous quote. I only have one, so and I'm surprised I had. This amazes me that I have one, but I do have one. And that quote, which I didn't even know, I said it in an interview. I did. It came out of the top of my head. I probably wouldn't have remembered saying it if the person hadn't put it in the article. But basically, if we embrace our greatest qualities together collectively, such as, humanity, creativity, artistry, intellectuality, all of these really are greatest qualities together. Now you're kind of letting the cream rise to the top, and when you do that, you bring out the best in yourself, and then the next thing you know, it's rubbing onto other people, and you're starting to bring out the best in other people. Not only that, but you're stopping people in their tracks that might be on a not so productive slant, just because they've been hurt by the process. They have very dark feelings, or they have resentments and all these issues that are also normal for us to have. But you have to look at that and see if you can get create something that finds common ground. And the thing is, music finds common ground. So once I realized that I could reach people with my music, I was able to go just about anywhere, and I was able to bring a time out to people. And during that time out, I was able to affect them, affect their soul, affect their, get them thinking, whatever it was that I was able to affect them. That would create a type of a positive communication that I couldn't have created if I just showed up and started talking.
That's very cool. Very cool. Rick, I'm so glad that you've been able to make time to be with us today. Before we wrap up, I wonder if you'd take a minute and tell people how they can learn more about your work, how they can connect with you personally, perhaps via social media or whatever you'd like to guide them to do, and how they can, learn more and engage in Jazz for Peace.
Well, one really easy way to get through to me and to Jazz for Peace, or even our team, is just our basic generic email address. It's info at jazzforpeace.org. And what we do is called empowerment grants, and and we grow something called an empowerment tree. So if you think tree, you are on the right track with Jazz for Peace, because what we actually do, you can send anything you want to info. You could say, hey, I watched Devin's show, and wow, I learned this, I got that, and say whatever you think. Your honesty, as we talked off stage, honesty is so important. We take the honest comment from somebody that just comes from their soul, we turn that into a seedling, and from there we grow an empowerment tree.
Excellent. Thank you for being with us. We wish you every success.